Welcome back, True Seeker. It is April 17th, 2024, a Wednesday. It's the anniversary of the passing of Barbara Bush, who was the first lady to George Herbert Walker Bush, the first Bush to be president, number 41, who was also vice president to Reagan. She died on this day in history. And annually, we're talking about very specific rituals that happen on April 17th that correspond to an important phrase from history spoken by George H.W. Bush. And he spoke on it multiple times, the New World Order. And again, George H.W. Bush gave one of his New World Order speeches September 11th, 1990, 11 years to the day of 9/11, where the world was forever changed at the World Trade Centers in the 11th state, New York, on the 11th of the month with what began with flight AA-11. And the World Trade Centers looked like an 11, and they were 110 stories tall. Anyhow, I meant to put up a post here, and I got to get it up. And just so you know, we're going to have to move through this video quickly because I'm getting a late start. I had a whole bunch of things come up today that were not expected. If you're following the screen, you're getting ahead of what I wanted to talk about. But on this date, April 17th, which can be written 17/4, like 174, I want to go back in time to something important we talked about with the number 174. And that was the unveiling of the statue at the United Nations that a lot of people thought resembled the description of the beast from Revelation, the concluding book of the Bible. And, the United Nations did start in San Francisco, named after St. Francis of Assisi, a very prominent Catholic who the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, is named after. But this happened November 9th, 2021, the unveiling of this statue that reminded people of the beast. And from the start of the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year, which happened on Cannonball Day, May 20th, 2021, to November 9th, it was the 174th day of the first ever Ignatian year. And again, the Ignatian year was to remember the 500th anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola being shot with a cannonball, because they say it was that moment that transformed him to a soldier, to a spiritual leader that created the Jesuit order, which still serves the Catholic Church to this day. And, Billy Cannon died the other year on Cannonball Day, and Judge Eileen Cannon wants Trump on court on May 20th. Just jokes with May 20th and Cannonball Day again and again. But the other year, it was the death of the Jesuit superior general. He died on May 20th, died in Japan, Adolfo Nicolas. And then it was the very next year, it was the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year. But we talked about how it was so interesting that they unveiled this statue at the United Nations, which again began in San Francisco, which are connected to the Franciscan order, which is the precursor to the Jesuits. But again, on the 174th day of the first Jesuit Ignatian year, the unveiling of this statue. And notice how New World Order has that gematria of 174, as does number of the beast. Number of the beast. And remember, the word beast alone is 47. And so are the words government and authority and Republican and Democrat and White House and president and Caesar. And all roads lead to Rome, Vatican 47. We just had the first ever Super Bowl on the birthday of the Vatican. The over-under was at 47.5 points, and there were 47 points in the game. And this was the NFL, which had its first Super Bowl season in its 47th season. And it came out of the United States, which has a birthday of the 4th day, 7th month. This beast thing we talk about all the time, year after year on this day. And if you're new here, gematria is very simple. To get those numbers into those words, all you do is make A, B, C 1, 2, 3, up to D, E, F is 4, 5, 6, up to G is 7, H is 8, I is 9, and so on up to Z is 26. You just turn the letters to numbers using the alphabetic order and then add up the value of the word. You'll see number of the beast adds up to 174. You know you're doing it right if you start out with N is 14, U is 21, 14 plus 21, then plus M, which is plus 13, and then plus B, that's 2, E's 5, so on. But very simple math. And another cipher that's also simple is just multiply the alphabetic order times 6. A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, D is 24, E is 30. Again, I didn't invent any of this stuff. This stuff was in the world before any of us were here. occultist of the past wrote about these things. Most people did not know about these books or these writings because they weren't part of our upbringing or curriculum. They weren't mentioned in our schools. But with Sumerian gematria, which is multiplying the alphabetic order times 6, New York is 666. The United Nations is now in New York. And just to make a point, in this same cipher, also big in the news today, is this abortion ban story in Arizona. And just like how New York is 666, so is abortion ban. And somebody might think, how could an abortion ban be evil? It's not the abortion ban that's evil. It's the idea that this world's been created where they have people of the US divided and fighting over the same things in every election, like abortion bans, where had we taken a better approach to solving this problem, we said, well, how can we create a world where nobody wants an abortion, where every woman feels confident to bring that child in the world and knows she's going to be successful and so is her child? How do we create that world where there's that opportunity so there is an abortion? And it doesn't have to be some communist socialist system. Far from it. You know, the mega wealthy in this world, if they realize that that was a charity that could be created and solve this problem, where people put into it to really help out women in these situations, to know that there's going to be support there to a living extent. Again, charities can be created for tax write-offs, which the super wealthy need, and a lot of the super wealthy, they already have charities. The point I'm making is these things could be done out of other interests without them being mandated by governments. But humanity should be talking about solutions, and we should be able to call on the billionaires of our society, the people that own the Home Depots of the land. They got mega stores in all of our cities. We shop at their businesses. We should be able to talk to these people and say, hey, you know what? We really do want to end this abortion thing. How about all you super billionaires create a charity, make it a big, fat, nice write-off for you guys? It could be your best write-off of the year, but you're taking care of this problem where we're making sure women who are having children, who are in a bad spot, that they can feel like there's going to be a real safety net so that they can raise a child. And again, it doesn't have to be mandated, but it can be created and sustained because the wealthiest people in this land, they could raise a gazillion families. They could supply based on, again, look into the stats for America, you guys. There is a very rich ruling class, and that ruling class, they control a huge, overwhelming chunk of the financial pie. When you look at these things, the statistics that are out there, it's mind blowing that such a small group of people can have as much wealth as hundreds of millions. And that's why, again, these people would have the choice too. We couldn't force them into it, but we could say, listen, you guys can be the heroes of society. You can make it so that nobody's fighting over abortion anymore. We can move on. And I mean, people are more divided in my lifetime, and I think everyone's lifetime, in the Roe versus Wade era over the abortion fight. A lot of people vote solely Democrat or Republican based on their stance on abortion, while these two parties continue to sell us out, sell us down the river, manipulate us with abortion rhetoric. And again, if you've been missing my work on what's going on with the overturning of Roe versus Wade and how it paid tribute to Roe versus Wade, again, you can see all of this stuff is high ritual to keep us right where we are. This is an evil system that manipulates us over just like the most disgusting things. And a lot of the reason these disgusting things are in our society is because of the world that they've helped shape in their image. And that image is based in lies and war and propaganda and needless fear and, all kinds of division and hatreds. And it's just, but yeah, this one's the grossest. And you just see, do you remember the other year? The other year we were talking about how the headline, if you guys look this headline up, again, look it up yourself so you know that I'm not bullshitting. The other year we were documenting, just before they overturned Roe versus Wade, they're talking about how Texas passed 666 new laws. This was the headline, 666. And the big headliner of it was the 6-week abortion ban. 666 new laws, 6-week abortion ban. Here we are again with abortion ban, 666, and number of the beast. We've been talking about this for years. That's the point I'm making. This isn't a new conversation. This is an ongoing conversation. And every year on this day, April 17th, I'm talking about where these things relate. If you're new here, it matters that I got to talk about this, by the way, is not my post. I got to talk about bad use of Gematria too in this video. That is some bad use right there on the screen. If you didn't see it, just close your eyes. I'll talk about it. You don't even want to see it. It's so bad. But yeah, again, what matters is the 174th day of the Jesuit Ignatian year. There were headlines about how the new creature, the new statue at the United Nations reminded people of the beast in Revelation. There were some clear parallels. And just again, what are the odds that they would do it on the 174th day of the Jesuit Ignatian year? You know, and this post is from back then. This post is, when's this post published? And there's posts about this stuff from way before this. This is from 2021. So we're 2.5 years later. And again, just the latest example. So I want to go through these top headlines today in light of understanding this. I wanted to start with the abortion thing, which really is the most divisive thing in America. And it's evil to use this topic in the way they do. Okay, quickly. Other stories today. Oh, by the way, Arizona has Gematria 42, and the beast rules for 42 months in the Bible. And they said the Supreme Court state decision was 4-2. Like 42, like Arizona 42. Remember in Gematria, New Testament and Math are 42. New Testament begins with the 42 generations to Jesus in Matthew. That Supreme Court decision was on 4-9, April 9th. Revelation equals 49. Just so does America. Again, the first book I tried to start to write about this was back in 2014 called Revelation and the Birth of a Nation, because I always see how they're paying tribute to the number of the beast and the way they keep us divided. And don't forget, the word beast equals 47, like news, like government, like authority, again, like Republican, like Democrat, like White House, like president, like Trump. Joe Biden, 47th VP, took office with 47-year-old Obama the first time. Then after 47 years in D.C., gets elected while Trump's saying, I've done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years. And again, both of these guys with serious sacrifices in their families, both with the Jesuit education. Now, here's another thing. Today, Joe Biden was in Pittsburgh to talk infrastructure. We've been talking about the parallels with the collapse of the Fern Hollow Bridge when he was in Pittsburgh. The same pattern with what just happened on Nancy Pelosi's birthday in Baltimore. She's from Baltimore. But Baltimore, Pittsburgh, football. Remember, October 7th last year was the 174th death anniversary of Edgar Allan Poe, who wrote The Raven, which the Baltimore Ravens are named after. It was the 174th death anniversary this past football season, October 7th, 2023, the same day the war began in Israel. The very next day, Mike Tomlin, October 8th, the day Netanyahu declared war on Gaza, Tomlin, for the Jesuit-run Steelers, like the Jesuits gave us the calendar and the 26-letter alphabet as we know it. But Mike Tomlin got his 174th career win over the Ravens, one day after the 174th death anniversary, again, of Edgar Allan Poe, synced up with this major war in Israel, which came out of the world wars, where they constantly code synagogue of Satan over Israel. I'm not saying people who live in Israel are the synagogue of Satan. You know, a lot of people who live there because they were born there. And a lot of things that happened back in 1945, a lot of people living there today have nothing to do with. Again, the people of the world need to learn how religion and all these things is being manipulated by this gang to make people hate each other and want to kill each other. And they literally keep doing it by this number of the beast, New World Order code. It's like they're bringing about their world order by having the people of the world destroy themselves, their culture, their heritage. And you see how it happens with war. Again, Afghanistan, Iraq, when we went over there, in no time the museums were looted. So yeah, okay. We hit the abortion, the Mayorkas impeachment. New World Order equals 174 if you use the alphabetic order. It equals 66 when you use the alphabetic order with numerology. Number of the beast equals 66. Protestant Bibles are 66 books. It's the 66th book that teaches about Revelation. The verse begins, here is wisdom, period, in the King James. That Here is wisdom is 66. Special number 66. You run the alphabetic order in reverse. New Testament is 66. Math is 66. The other way, they're both 42. 42, 66. New Testament ends with the 66th book, begins with the 42 generations to Jesus, begins with Matthew. The 66. This statue was from, I always pronounce it wrong. My apologies. Oaxaca, Mexico. I know I said it wrong. I'm sorry. The proper pronunciation is 66, just like number of the beast. Today, with the Mayorkas impeachment thing, which is just more division, more divisive politics, our whole government focused on the latest scandal. Who needs to get kicked out now? It's like, no wonder our government never does anything. It's like all this money and stalemate on everything that actually matters to American people every single year. Just so stagnant. All this money, no real advancement. Education, medicine, nothing. Just things getting more expensive. People dying at younger ages. The nation getting fatter and fatter. People need to realize why. It's not by accident. These politicians aren't really dummies. They play dummies. That's part of the game. But Mayorkas, gematria of 66, like number of the beast. Right here. You can see right there. Number of the beast, 174 big way with numerology applied. Instead of n being 14, it becomes 1 plus 4 is 5. The 21st letter becomes 3. That's how you get a smaller value. Alphabetic order of numerology. Alejandro Mayorkas, 66, the same way. Here was wisdom, 66. Run it in reverse. New Testament, 66. In light of us being on a calendar that's Catholic and the Jesuits being Catholic, and again, a Jesuit priest is responsible for the calendar. We're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope. We're factoring into Israel here, established on 14/5, like the 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, when Catholic equals 145 in Gematria. And today's also 145 days after Mayorkas' birthday, reminding you who's running this new world order, this number of the beast system, this wolves in sheep's clothing system. Anyway, I do got to get off because I have about 10 minutes of dress work to finish dinner here, but I needed to get in a stream. And yeah, I really, again, it's just, I really wish the people of the world would have grasped onto these lessons a decade ago so they could just see. They could just see. We've been talking about the same thing, just the way they do this, you guys, on 17-4 abortion ban. Again, one side of the aisle is going nuts. The other side's happy, polarizing. They've trapped us into a game. Again, everyone should be cooperating. Like, okay, who really wants abortion? I think anybody really wants abortion at the end of the day. And again, if every mother felt like she could safely bring a child in the world and they'd be healthy, her and the baby, that there'd be a chance at a decent life, the pursuit of happiness, I don't think you'd have any abortions. And I think that world could be created without a communist system, but a system just based on better morale and people who dominate the world. If, let's say, a Jeff Bezos and a Mark Zuckerberg world, man, how about you guys put your minds together and help solve this for humanity so we can evolve past fighting over abortion every year and voting for the lesser of two evils. All right, I got to wrap it up, Truth Seeker. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. Shout out to Truth Does Not Exist. Indeed, I do. Yeah, indeed, I do. If you guys want to check out my old blog, Liberal Instincts, from back in the early 2000s, I was criticizing just what I saw and how people were just riding on the Obama wagon blindlessly, not looking at the real voting record or what the man was about. Thank you, Frank the Truth Tank. You're always doing the great work, too. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you for your generosity yet again. And thank you again, Ava Moon. All right, you guys, I got to hop off. Please do hit the like and share, or at least try to share it in your own way. Make your own video, your own post, your own sticker, your own way to help spread the knowledge to as many people as possible. All right, True Seeker, have a good rest of your evening, and until next time.